Welcome to episode 6 of my Road to Unicum series. Today we're looking at the ELC AMX. This is the tiny tier 5 French light tank, and you can see it's dwarfed by some of these tanks, just even medium tanks. This T-54 makes the ELC look positively tiny. And in this video I'm going to talk about playing smartly with this tank, leveraging its strengths while minimizing its weaknesses, and I am most definitely not going to drive around like a chicken with its head cut off. As far as strengths, this tank has incredible mobility in terms of top speed and agility, and it has a TD quality gun with 240 alpha and a whopping 170 penetration, which is almost as good as the tier 8 T-44 medium that I covered in the previous two videos. So, for a tank that gets tier 6 to tier 8 matchmaking, this is a stellar penetrating gun. And it also has incredible camouflage. Now, in this Widepark map, what you can do if you're a fast lighter medium tank is you can come up to the top of the railroad quickly and get a bunch of spots. And I've lit 7 tanks, most notably one of their arties, who stops in a moment here at C3, and that allows one of our arties to take him out in a moment here. So right there, we just killed that arty that I spotted. So not only did I get a bunch of spotting credit, but we took out one of their arties early in the match, which is great. Now the ELC can get a lot of what I call first shot opportunities because you'll outspot other tanks. Notice I'm running with binoculars, also running gun rammer and I believe gun laying drive. And I'm waiting for tanks to come up toward this bridge. I hold my shot for a little bit. I want to draw this tank destroyer in, and then once he crosses over, I go ahead and hit him. Now he turns around and starts to face me immediately. I should have started scrambling, but I move at least fast enough to not take a lot of damage on my hull. He ended up tracking me, and then I want to back up as quickly as possible since there are probably enemy tanks. You can see more of them being lit on the other side of that underpass. Now I've been driving back there long enough. I'm probably dropped from their sight. And with this tank's amazing camo, you can hide in plain sight here because I've got better vision control than these tanks. I land another shot in the M4, and you can see I'm not even lit. So in a moment, I am going to go ahead and pull back to the bush. One of the things to know about this tank is that the aim time is a very long 12 seconds, so you want to make every shot count. So I finish off that first TD that had come close to the railway. And the other thing to know about the tank is that the gun has atrocious gun handling. It feels very much like a bad combination of the worst characteristics of a tank destroyer gun and a heavy tank gun. I'll get to that more in a moment. This Chaffee has snuck into our base and has one of our arties spotted, so I scramble to come back and try to save him, and I don't make it in time, but I do manage to take out the Chaffee from doing more damage. Now, like I said, this gun combines the worst characteristics of a tank destroyer and a heavy tank in that this is essentially a turretless tank, just like a tank destroyer, and it has the kind of long, slow aim time you typically associate with a heavy. And because it's not turreted, if I move my aiming reticle too much, it'll actually rotate my hull, which causes the aiming reticle to bloom, expand. Like, look how big the aiming reticle is. So whenever possible, I try to lock my hull in place, so even as I move the aiming reticle, it doesn't move my hull. But even if your hull is locked, if you're just moving your mini turret around a little bit, it'll really throw off your aim. So too late I come up to try to help this Hellcat. I was playing too passively for the last 30 seconds or so. That was definitely a mistake. The Hellcat's gone, and we've got a pretty large 3-tank deficit and only 2 tanks on the western side of the map. I do get a first shot opportunity on that medium tank because I know he was going to come around the corner. So I polish him off, and then I quickly drive away because I have a long reload. And there's an American E8 tank here, and I joust and get the drive-by shot. Now that's popular for, with ELC drivers to drive by and hit tanks, but you need to be very aware of the fact that you don't want to get close to tanks because if they tap you physically even the slightest, your tank will implode because it weighs so little. And also while driving, your gun aiming reticle is going to be pretty large. In this case, I can sit down. There's another first shot opportunity I created. I knew the M3 lead was going to come around the corner, so I polish him off, and we've recovered from that 3-tank deficit. It's even again, and I know that they have several tanks still pushing up this 2 line, so I wait until that T-34 is well around the corner and he's focusing on the Electo tank destroyer in front of him. And so when I come around to his rear and flank him, his turret is facing the wrong way, and that's an easy one-shot kill. So we've recovered now, we're up by 2 tanks, and this KV-2, obviously I need to be careful of because he's packing that derp gun, which can easily one-shot any tank in this battle. And right there I snapshotted, even though I was pretty close, I thought it was only like about 45 meters away from the KV-2. I thought that even with snapshotting I would hit him, but I missed, and that really points to, the poor base accuracy of this gun. I'm trying to keep the KV-2 busy. We have the Electo moving up plus a heavy tank, a Churchill. So I'm keeping the KV-2 spotted and trying to get his turret to face toward me. And while he's doing that, he's exposing the sides and back of his turret, to headshots from the Electo and the Churchill. So my friendly tanks are now firing the KV-2, and I'm figuring, he's probably looking the other way. I can see around the corner is, yes, okay, he's looking the other way. I can safely come up here and take a shot. And I hit him right on the rear drive wheel. I was hoping that shot would both penetrate and track him, and it didn't track him, but at least it put him down to one-shot range for me. So the KV-2 one-shots the Electo, but this gives me time to come up and finish him off. And at this point, the battle's pretty academic. I'm at pretty high health, and it's unlikely that either of the 2 arties will spot me before I spot them for a couple reasons. One, the fantastic camouflage values on this ELC, coupled with the fact that all light tanks retain their camo while moving, so that's a big plus for light tanks. Even if they did spot me, good luck trying to hit this tiny tank clocking 60 kilometers an hour in the open. So I've spotted them both, and because I'm not lit, I can just stop here, hiding in plain sight in the field, and wait for this terrible gun bloom, the reticle, to close in. So I've dropped that arty and I'm spotted, so I'm going to keep driving, and there's some hard cover between us and also some soft cover, so I come up behind these bushes here, just waiting until I drop from his side, and he's dropped from my side as well. But I'm going to pull up to a bush and then stop long enough for the binoculars to kick in. It takes a couple seconds. The binoculars boost your view range, I think it's 25%, which is a lot more than the coated optics. Now for most tanks, if I were playing most other light tanks, and especially medium tanks, I would favor the coated optics. But in this tank's case, because the base view range is only 360, improving it by 10% is not going to be that much, especially when there are tier 7 and 8 tanks with a better base view range. In addition, with the terrible gun handling, this tank is really better played as a camo sniping TV in spurts, as well as using the tank's mobility to actively spot. Now you'll notice a little while ago when I was hiding behind that bush, there was a small explosion on the eastern side of the map right by the track, so I knew basically within a 1 square on the map where this arty is going to be, and I finish him off. So in the next video we're going to be looking at the ELC, but in a tier 8 battle, because the dynamics are totally different. Against tier 7 and 8 tanks you're going to face a lot of tanks that can wreck and one-shot you. This particular battle I finished with an Ace Tanker Mastery badge, a Radley Walters medal, because I got 8 kills in a tier 5 battle. There is a poll posted on this video, and please vote and let me know after the second ELC video which tank you'd like to see next. Take care.